Now, here is something a lot of people don't really talk about when considering buying a new motorcycle for yourself, especially if you are a brand new rider looking to learn. And also, you gotta think about if you plan on riding on your own or learning on your own. Because to be honest, when I first picked up a dual sport, 80% of the time I was actually by myself. So the biggest factor, and also can be pretty life-threatening, is can you actually pick up the bike? Ow! Woo! Let's take a look at this video and continue on from there.
I want to see if you can carry the bike by yourself.
Yeah.
Because this is probably pretty important. There's a way to do it.
Nope, that's not what it is. I'm guessing you start to get underneath it, right?
There's a few ways. So I want you to learn to pick it up by yourself. I mean, you could use sheer strength like this, you know.
Yeah, no,
like I could just, you know, pick it up like that. So the other way is grabbing it from here.
Yep, and then getting yourself underneath it to kind of push up.
Yeah, just watch your fingers.
Yep.
You don't touch anything hot. And just pick it up. So guys, just in case you're by yourself one day,
you grab right here?
wherever you're the most comfortable. I try to grab right here, the lowest part.
Yep.
As hard as you can. There you go. Now you can do it. I'll help you.
Yeah, I got it.
It's just important by your, if you're ever.
Oh yeah, you got to be able to do things by yourself there.
Yep.
Cool.
That was it.
I fell.
That's going to be most of your falls.
Yeah, probably.
Don't worry about it if you drop it.
I probably slowed down too quickly.
Yeah. Every so often, work on your brakes.
Yeah.
Especially your rear brakes.
Yeah, I've been getting better about doing that. I'm so used to biking the brakes in here that I.
You want to use both.
Huh?
You want to use both.
Yeah, you want to use both, but I want to engage that one first.
Yes.
So one day you ended up by yourself. You decided, hey, one day I want to learn how to ride a dirt bike or perhaps a dual sport. You end up figuring out how to ride. You do a quick test around the parking lot, you got the hang of it, and you decide to venture out close to 40 miles away from your truck. Because to ride out 40 miles, it's pretty easy to do, believe it or not, on a bike. So you decide to turn back around, and on your way back you put your foot down, only to realize you cannot touch or reach the ground. And now the bike is in a weird angle, making it even harder to pick up. You try with all your might and all your strength, and you realize you can't pick up this dual sport, this 300-pound machine. Now there are pros and cons to owning a dual sport versus a dirt bike. After all, dual sports are essentially heavier dirt bikes that do better on the road and have a bit longer internal gearing. And of course, also has comfort in mind. But there are things that do meet right in the middle, such as the TTR230 or the Honda CRF230. But what are the main pros to a dual sport? If you don't really plan on doing technical, gnarly, or rocky trails with tight areas, you don't really need a light performance dirt bike like a KTM 250 EXC-F in my opinion. So you end up having a more reliable, longer maintenance machine with a traditional dual sport, but with the cost of the added weight. And of course, the other pro is as you get better, you could definitely start hopping on the road for more trail hopping and exploring, since most dual sports are plated and the internal gears are usually a bit longer when reaching 4th, 5th, or if it has that final gear. The other pro is, well, it might be a con. You might get some pretty awesome looks on the streets and occasionally have a few guys tell you, hey, can you pop a wheelie? But sadly you can't because you're still somewhat new. But the cons, let's talk about the cons now. You can't really compare me with your average dirt bike rider because I'm a pretty large guy that bodybuilds, so strength is kind of on my side. But say you are one of those lightweight dudes, you're looking for a dual sport or a dirt bike and you're here trying to make a decision, which one should you get? Now, there are a few questions you need to ask yourself. Can you pick up the machine is probably one of the main questions you should be asking yourself. The second would be, do you plan on riding by yourself, especially on pretty hard trails? Do you mostly want to do off-road with very minimal street in between, or do you plan on wanting to do dual sport riding with a lot of street in between as you get better? Do you want comfort, especially on the road? Do you want long maintenance intervals, or are you fine with average maintenance intervals? But the most important, can you pick up the machine when it is dropped in a weird angle? Not just a normal flat surface. Sometimes the bike does drop in a very weird angle, making it a little bit harder to pick up. Another question to be asking yourself is, do you like pushing your limits? Because if you do, you might be dropping the bike a lot more. See, I can't really answer these for you, but the only thing I can do is offer my suggestions, as I've owned plenty of bikes, and myself being a new rider as well, I can relate. If you find yourself in this category where you ride by yourself a lot, you're, let's say, younger, plan on mostly doing dirt roads and looking for a bike you can grow into for a year or two and have very minimal street riding in between, you might want to look at the TTR230 or the CRF230. The only thing I can do is kind of compare them to the KLX250, because their power, I would say it's almost similar. Not really though. But these bikes are smack dab in the middle. It's light enough for you to pick it up on your own. They're a bit more peppier and a bit more snappier than the KLX250. Now, it's not crazy snappy throttle, it's almost like the KLX250 mellow power, but just a little bit more aggressiveness. And the best part is the maintenance is at a whopping 60 hours, at least from what I've read. These bikes usually come in a bit detuned with more solid, heavier internal parts, so you can bet these will last quite some time if you plan on this is all you need to grow into. Now, the catch is the license plate. It's a bit more maintenance, road manners, and of course road speed. So I know this video is pretty long just to talk about if you can pick up the bike, but I did add a few little reminders and pointers and stuff like that if you should consider a dual sport or maybe a legit dirt bike that's on the lighter side. Anyhow, if you guys like my content, wish to follow me, and like to watch me improve, go ahead and subscribe, hit that bell button, and I'll catch you guys in my next video.